So as you heard, my name is Amir Windom, and first and foremost, I see a lot of the Greeks in here, the AKAs. You ain't gonna make no noise or nothing? I see Omega Psi Phi. Where the A5As at? Man, I didn't even know. Okay, that's what I was looking for. All right, and then the Zetas, the Sigmas. All right, but more importantly, let me get to the Me Phi Me's. That's right. Don't y'all ever forget, y'all are the minority, we're the majority. Ain't that right, Me Phi Me? So hey, as I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Amir Windom, I've had the pleasure of working with some amazing artists and people in my life, such as Bruno Mars, T.I., a band called Fun. Anybody heard of Fun? Anybody? Somebody say no. I dare you. I'll sing the song. Tonight. All right. Y'all are great. So, I've had the pleasure of working with some of these people. Now, I know I got like 25 minutes, so I got to be quick to the point. So, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was sitting in the same seat you guys were. I'm 28 years old. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I'm a young fella, not too old. I was sitting in the same seat that you guys were in, and I was trying to figure it all out. How am I going to be able to ball? How am I going to be able to stunt like my daddy? And how am I going to be able to just be that dude? And I realized quickly, one thing that helped me get to that point was me realizing who I was not. Now, I went to Florida A&M on a football scholarship. I know y'all looking at me like, you play football? I used to be sexy back in my day. But I went on a football scholarship, and in doing so, I realized quickly that I was not necessarily going to be a long-term football player. I realized I was a lot shorter than I thought I was, because I remember being in high school, they bump up your stats. Oh, he's 5'10", 185, stud athlete. I get to school, somehow I lost like 4 inches because they told me I was 5'7", like 165, so I was hurt. So I realized quick that, man, you might not necessarily want to be a professional athlete anymore. So I had to do something that most of you guys are going to have to do, and that's figure out who you are not versus who you are. Some people say figure out who you are, but I say figure out who you're not. I realize I'm not a professional athlete. That's just not who I am. I'm a good athlete, but I'm not a professional one. So maybe I need to start focusing on the next phase of my life. So quickly, after football season, I realized, it's time to kind of create a new me, a new image for myself. Now, a lot of us, there's going to be a lot of things in college that you're going to it's going to become your image. Like some of us, we're going to be in SGA. Some of us are going to be in these different organizations. Some of us are going to be in Greek organizations. But the thing is regardless of what you get into in college, you're going to have to expand beyond that at some point. Like being the SGA president, it's going to be kind of whack to still be telling people 10 years from now, I was the SGA president back at Arkansas State 10 years ago, where I managed a budget of over $1 million. You got to create a new memory now at this point. So I understood those kind of things as far as creating new memories. And so I said, man, I got to put myself in a position where my talent can be an opportunity. Called the TO theory. Talent versus opportunity. So what does that mean? That means it's simply, you really don't know what you are ultimately going to do. All you have to do is just keep knocking on different doors and stick your head in there. What's in this door? What's in this door? Until ultimately you can find something where you can cultivate all your talents. So I did just that. I ended up at Howard University shadowing my sister who worked at Capitol Records. She was throwing this big event in DC, and all these artists there. Now I ended up meeting some people. Now when I met these people, I approached them a little differently. I wasn't trying to be the stiff, hello, my name's Amir Windom. I'm a second-year public relations student from Atlanta, Georgia. My skills are I can type 60 words in 60 seconds. I'm also efficient at Microsoft Word. I'm also just an amazing person, and I'm also just a person that you should hire. You know what I'm talking about, those people who got that They just got it down pat. Me, I approach it more so like, look, I need to build a personal relationship with these people. What's going to make me a little different than others? Like, how am I going to set myself aside? So I approached it, and I approached it from more of a personal standpoint, leaving an impression, my likability. Because I felt like, a lot of people can be talented, but let me use some of my personality to kind of make these people more interested in me. So long story short, I met a guy, a bad boy, got cool with him. He was the executive vice president, stayed in touch with him. Emails was simply not like, hey, can you help me? I need an internship. Oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do in my life. Please help me. It was more so, hey, good to meet you, man. Look, I told the class earlier about this email. I know that you're a Yankees fan. I saw that they got swept by the Red Sox. I just want to let you know I am praying for you and your feelings and this time of grievance. I am here for you if you need me. I sent this email to this guy, not really knowing how he was going to respond. But he responded back and was like, haha, you got jokes. He was like, but hey, man, I appreciate the prayers, but let's stay in touch. Da, da, da. So, I'm just, from that point on, I'm just emailing him every now and then. What's up, man? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Black History Month, whatever. So he eventually reached out and said, hey, man, you want a job? Come to New York for the summer to work for P. Diddy and Bad Boy. I said, what do I need to get there? I need to get there today or tomorrow? So I'm in New York. I'm 19 years old. And one thing about New York, when you're in New York, you can't just go to New York without somebody giving you a little understanding of what you're getting yourself into. I almost died like 3 times. Because cars, like, everybody's walking, but if you don't really know, pay attention to the street light. But when you see the walk sign, that's when you can walk. When you don't see it, don't walk. So if you're on your phone, just, yeah, man, I'm in New York, man. A car just run right by you. So I'm in New York, working a Bad Boy. Had a basic internship of taking out trash and cleaning toilets. I mean, just that internship that you really hear about, that was me. Getting cupcakes and stuff for my bosses. So while I was there, I realized quickly, man, I need to go ahead and I got to expand beyond this Bad Boy job. So I reached out to some of the other people I had met. And long story short, I ended up taking the lady, Deidre Graham, out to dinner. She said, while I was there, hey, man, you really remind me of my boss. I need to introduce you to my boss. So she introduced me to her boss, and she told me she was going to introduce me to her boss. So I went to an event maybe a couple more weeks after that. Her boss turns out to be Russell Simmons and Kevin Liles. Now, my problem with this was, man, you could have told me your boss was Russell Simmons, because you about to have me fainting in front of all these people. And luckily, World Star Hip Hop doesn't exist, so I ain't going to end up on World Star, but YouTube exists now. And I can see myself man faints after meeting Russell Simmons. So I meet Russell Simmons, and we're sitting here in this mixer at a Kanye West mixer, and Russell's talking. Me, Russell, and Kevin Liles just sitting in this corner talking. Kevin Liles was the president of Def Jam at the time. He went from intern to president. He was 23 years old when he became an intern and became a president when he was 30. So I'm sitting in the corner talking to these cats. So we talking, and I'm just making an impression on him. So by the time it was time for us to leave, he said, give me your information. I'm going to get in touch with you. Bam. Cool. I didn't even care if they called me. I'm like, I talked to Kevin Liles and Russell Simmons. I don't need nothing else in my life. I'm good. So I get to my office next week. This is the week before I'm about to go back to football camp. And I get a call from Kevin. He's like, hey, man, what's up, man? It's me and Russell Simmons. I'm like, okay, what's up, fellas? He's like, hey, we want to put you in the most uncomfortable position you ever been in your life. All right, we want to offer you a job. A job? I'm like, man, yeah, I'm crip walking in my head. Like, I got a job with Russell Simmons. But as soon as I got excited about it, I thought to myself, damn, I got to call my mom first. Now, my mom, Stanford graduate, so you already know what that means. She don't play about the education. USC grad. Dad, same thing, just smart. So I called her, I'm buttering up, Mama, man, I'm telling you, man, you are such an amazing mom. Like, every day to me is like Mother's Day. So, matter of fact, I'm thinking about, I'm already, my first check that I get, I want to put this check aside to go ahead and start working towards buying you a car because I just love you that much. You mean that much to me. And so, I'm buttering up and I tried to slip it in. And by the way, I got a job offer here in New York. She's like, nope, need to go back to school. Those opportunities will be there. Called a few more people. They was like, you might need to go back to school, man. Only person that told me to look into taking it was my dad. He said, man, you're going to have to be a man and make your own decisions one day. So he said, you got to get some hair on your chest and be a man. So I remember looking down at my chest. So I got a couple of chest hairs. I'm about to make a decision. And I told him, I'm taking a job. In New York, first project at Def Jam was Kanye West's album. Creative marketing plan, Amir Windom. Hold up. First of all, you must have forgotten that I was like a janitor at my internships. No one ever taught me how to do any marketing plans, Mr. Kevin Lau, so you're going to have to do a little bit more than just tell me that. And at the time, he had this book out called Make It Happen. So as I'm talking all this noise, telling him, how struggling it's going to be, he looks at me and says, make it happen. Like, ooh, aren't you creative with your words? So I created this marketing campaign, and it tested to, his sales in the third week jumped up, tripled. It tripled in the third week. They looked at me and said, oh my God, this is because of you. You're smart. You're a genius. You got the juice. So I'm sitting here now, I get promoted to manager of marketing. Little old me is now a manager of marketing at Def Jam. We got people here who've been there for 10 years, 5 years, some even 15 years. So of course, I got people looking at me crazy now. I'm walking in there trying to speak to people, good morning, how you doing? Hey, just everything you could think about. I had people doing like this and everything you could think about. Just, y'all know the rest, right? So at that moment, though, I learned something very important that you guys are going to have to take in your career, which is leaders learn how to flex purpose and not power. You learn how to flex purpose and not power. In all that you do, there's a purpose behind it, not so much power. Like, oh, I'm the boss. I tell you what to do. You do what I tell you to do. That's not so much a leader. A leader is, to me, someone who's leading with the intent of purpose. So after all these people giving me the eye going crazy, I think they ultimately learned I was trying to flex purpose, not power. So fast forward a little bit to how I got to Atlantic and got more on the creative side. I got on the creative side because I took a chance. I put some hair, I got some hair on my chest, and I saw an opportunity to do something, and I did it. I was working on his album, went to the studio with him to work on some marketing stuff, stayed in there. He ended up having a big session with Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Russell, and Kevin all in the studio. They were working on this song that was terrible, and I wanted to tell him so bad, but I ain't had the courage to. So it took me 2 hours to finally say something. And I said, yo, I'm going to tell Kevin that song's whack. Hopefully he'll tell them and they'll fix it. So I'm like, all right, first let me get a plan how I'm going to do this. So I said, all right, I'm going to raise my hand like I'm in the second grade. I'm going to get Kevin's attention. Come on over here, Kevin. Hey, man, I think that song's terrible. Oh, yeah, you need to do that. So I'm like, cool, that's the plan. So I raise my hand, I'm shaking, I'm like, Kevin. He looks at me. Like I said, the plan was him to come over. Instead of him coming over, Kevin taps the engineer and tells him to cut the music off. I almost fainted. Literally almost fainted. So I almost fainted and I almost woke up in a new Bugatti, I'm telling you. So he does that, and so he's like, what's up, Amir? I'm like, oh, here I go. So I went ahead and just told him, I said, man, I got an idea for the song that y'all working on. I ain't trying to disrespect nobody's creativity, because I think it's just amazing just the way y'all are. But I'm going to tell you anyway. So I said, gonna tell you, oh, so fine. Now why you want to go and do that, love, huh? Hey, now why you want to go and do that and do that? I just knew it was whack. I was packing up my stuff like, all right, appreciate y'all letting me be here. I'm going to see y'all later. It was real. And then he was like, no, it's actually pretty good. And so, long story short, that song ended up becoming one of his biggest singles to date. And I worked on another song called What You Know About That, What You Know About That. And that song won my first Grammy. So I'm 20, won my first Grammy. What am I going to do with my life now? Go back to school, right? That'd be the right thing to do, right? Or that'd be a stupid thing? Stupid. Some people say stupid. So I thought it would be the right thing to do. So I ended up going back to school full time. Took 21 hours just so I could graduate quick. 21 hours every semester, 2 years straight. Monday through Wednesday, I'm taking 21 hours. Thursday through Sunday, I'm flying to LA, Atlanta, New York, Miami. I did this every week for 2 years straight. Why? Because I wanted to be significant. I wanted to be great. Great people get opportunities like that. We all get them. But I'm telling you, most of the time we get them, we shy away from them. You know why? Because we want to be lazy. We want to kick it. We want to chill. We don't want to be great. But we miss out on opportunities like that, and it completely can derail your ascent. I had that moment when I saw that, and I saw, man, this is what great people do. Great people rise up to this occasion when they see these type of opportunities right there in front of them. And I accepted it. So fast forward 2 years, I won another Grammy. I signed an artist named Lupe Fiasco, won another Grammy for a song called Daydreaming. and I graduated from school right after that with a degree. And then I got promoted to be executive director at Atlantic Records, the youngest executive in the music biz at the age of 23. Wow, how did this guy do all that? It was a couple of things that I really would say really kept me focused in doing so. And I talked about this before, and it was my humility. Now, we all know, swag and all that confidence is very important to us. But I always say you got to learn how to be arrogantly humble. Arrogantly humble means that you know who you are. You know what you can do. But at the same time, you're humble enough to bring down your ego. Our ego is the one thing that can terribly, tremendously derail your success. So I always say that your ego is one thing that you got to contain. The other thing, too, as you're growing up and continuing to get to that level, is learn how to differentiate a hobby from a career, please. Learn how to differentiate a hobby from a career. Just because you like doing something does not necessarily mean it's going to transfer over to dollars and a career. Learn how to differentiate a hobby from a career. I always tell my artists that, or people that want to do music, because music could just simply be a career, just like a hobby, just like football was for me. Other thing too is the people. It's four people that I think you should keep around you all the time. One being someone older, someone wiser, someone that's been around for a while. It could be your father, your mother, your uncle, whoever. Of course, they'll keep dropping knowledge into you and feeding wisdom into you. Always be a disciple of learning. Two, your friends, your peers. They're probably the most important in that, because if you're hanging around people who's not pushing you to be great, you're going to be just as mediocre as they are. If you're not hanging around people that's going to be great, they're going to make you just as mediocre as they are. Don't be friends with people because, girl, I like to watch Real Housewives of Atlanta too. You do too, girl? Oh, yeah, man, I like to go out and I like to get on them ladies, dog. What about you? Yeah, man, me too. That's not a friendship. That's just y'all got stuff in common. A friend is going to find ways to push you to be great. That's a friend. Third, this is very important. Make sure you keep somebody around you that you don't want to be like. So you can always have an example of who you don't want to be like close by. You see that person you walking on campus, like, yeah, girl, I'm about to go home. I ain't going to that class. Then all of a sudden, that girl that you don't want to be like walk by, like, she got her books in her hand. She just got that stank walk. You be like, oh, let me go to class instead. Because you gotta keep reminding yourself, I don't want to be like her, or I don't want to be like him because I want to be better. Sometimes that's people in your family, your fathers, your mothers, let's be real. And lastly, one of the last things I want you guys to know is keep somebody under you that you can feed knowledge into. You ain't too old to be a mentor. Like, that's important. That's the significant part of it. Success is making money, the cars, the clothes, don't say that next part. But significance is improving the quality of life of people around you. That's what it's about. Significance is when you get statues built of you. Think about a statue. A statue is so symbolic because it shows that somebody did something so good that we got to put a statue up. So I always say, I'm trying to get some statues built of me. I want to be able to take my little kids one day when I had like, hey, look at your daddy. Look at your daddy. That's your daddy right there. That's right. That's right. And I want them to be going to school. My daddy got a statue. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I want. The last thing is, I got these 4 L's I live by too. One is leave places better than you found them, such as this university. When I was in school, I was really like on I'm trying to take over this school, but I want people to remember me when I leave. So like when I left school, when I would come back, and people like, yeah, Amir Windom, yeah, we know him. I'm like, all right, I left a place better than I found it. I left a good mark on why I was there. 2, lead from wherever you are. It goes back to my point about mentoring and stuff. You ain't too old to be a leader. A leader is somebody who dares to be different. I ain't scared to be different. Like when I was in school, I was doing all this stuff, and people like, man, you think you all that. You think you all that when I was in high school because I ain't drink or smoke. You couldn't make me be who I wasn't. But guess what? When I got them Grammys, guess what they were saying? Oh, man, I just always something special about you, man. I just knew you was going to be somebody. Get out of my face. And then live a life that matters. It goes back to my point about the legacy. Live a life that matters so that your kids, your nephews, your cousins, your aunts, everybody can be proud to say, That's what I own. I love when I go out and my mom just tell me, yeah, I just ran into like 20 people that know you, Amir. I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm living a life that matters because they know me for the good reasons. I'm not on World Star Hip Hop. And then love things more than yourself. Lord. Girl, I have felt like I was Martin Luther King at church right now. It was like perfect. I would have thought I went over there and told her, like, all right, I'm going to say this line. I want you to follow, but Love things more than yourself. When I get done, we all going to do a Love things more than yourself. Love things more than yourself. I think that it's self-explanatory. Care about things more than than your individual self. Can I get a And I'm going to leave you, and I say that because, like, I want to be, when it goes back to legacy, I want to be like the Bible. People always ask me what I mean when I say that, but, like, think about the Bible. I want to be the Bible where, think about it, you read it, you get inspiration from it, you gain strength. That's what I want people to look at me like. Like, he's like a Bible. I don't mind looking at him because he's going to inspire me. And this is the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with. Strive to be more than significant. Strive to be successful. I'm tired of people being mediocre. I'm tired of people accepting mediocrity. A lot of us come from mediocrity. We're around it. So we think it's okay to be just regular and go through the motions. That's not cool no more. Like, we all got to be great, significant, because you represent the person next to you. And you don't know who the person next to you is going to end up. So therefore, y'all make sure y'all get cool with each other, network, because I guarantee you in this room alone, it's going to be a lot of great people. This is where it starts. It starts right here. College is where you cultivate yourself, and you get a global mind, and you start wanting to be great. That's where it happened for me. So you guys strive to be more than successful. Strive to be significant. That's all I got. Thank you.